Good evening. How are y'all tonight? I'm probably going to be a little bit louder tonight because the phone is right by my head. So, we're going to do a little bit of painting. I couldn't resist. So, I'm a few minutes early, so I'll give you just a minute to hop on. And I'm going to wipe my glasses right quick. So, come on, tell me hello. Facebook likes when you chat with me, and then they are always happy to share it with other people. So come on and tell me hello. Besides, I like to chat with y'all too and see what you're up to. So it's going to be really different, but I'm very excited about this because I haven't gotten to paint in quite some time. Not like canvas type painting. So I am going to share this right fast, and I know, like I say, I'm a few minutes early, but hello Tony, hi Marianne, glad y'all are hopping on. So you're going to kind of see this at an angle tonight because my phone is right here kind of beside me. Hi, Miss Donna. So hopefully I won't be in the way too much because I'm right-handed. But hi, Kim. I'm glad y'all are hopping on, saying hello. Hi, Loretta. So I'm walking through my workroom in there. I use the word work lightly on that because it's like fun work. And I was thinking about this. I wanted to do this. This transfer I think is so cute. I love all this wispy, whimsical look to it. But hi, Kathy. Glad you joined. But I had out a piece of wood for it. And then I decided, wow, I walked past and I saw a painting. It wasn't this one, but then when I saw that one, I was like, we should do something like that on canvas. So that's what we're going to do. Hey, Miss Linda. So we probably won't get to the transfer part, but this is where I'm headed. And I don't even know if we're going to use all of the transfer because y'all know, I don't know until we get there. So, but tonight we're going to kind of paint this background. Kind of similar to what this is, a very wispy, loose painting. And I'm going to do it with some mostly chalk paint, which is also another thing I haven't done. So, or done very much. So we're going to find out. I think it's going to be fun. I hope y'all do. So this one I'm going to set aside. Looks like I poked a hole in it somewhere or another when I was moving and traveling when I moved my office. Okay, so I have placed some tape on here, and this is just going to give me my paint line from the sky to the ground. And I know every once in a while y'all are probably going to like not be able to see it because I forget and I got to like hug it all up here to me. I just noticed myself doing that. And so I'm going to try to scoot it back just a little bit further. So hopefully you can see it a little. I'm gonna jiggle you because I'm going to move my phone back just a little bit further too and see if you can get a little better view. We'll see. I have no idea. Okay, that looks like you got a little bit better. Okay, now you can kind of see, maybe, hopefully. So, okay, so I got out my serious brushes this time. And so we're just going to start playing, y'all. Okay, good. Thanks, Kathy. Okay, so hopefully, like I said, I'll try to stay out of your way. But the top, I just wet my brush is all I did. And this, since this is chalk paint, is probably going to be, I'm going to give it just a tiny spritz of water on top because I think it's quite a bit thicker than acrylic paint. But we're going to just start, and I'm going to just kind of dip in my brush in both of these just a little bit. And I always just start at the top and just some very loose brush strokes. And as of this moment, I have no idea how I want this to come out. So I'm just gonna add paint. I want it to be kind of stormy like that other one, but I don't want it to be super dark. So I'm just dipping into my different colors of paint, and I'll probably, I'm gonna try to paint the edges at the same time. That way it's kind of finished all around. So I may paint them later after a while, but so this this is just fun. You're just painting with your wrist. And this canvas seems to be a tad bit loose. I don't know why it seems like it has a lot of give to it. Well, what I mean by that. So I'm going to dip in, this time I've got a little bit of gray and a little bit of this kind of river rock color. And, ooh, that may be too dark. That gray was a little darker than I expected. It's coming quite the storm over here. Let's soften that up a little bit. Even Bob Ross would think, man, that was a little dark. We don't want dark. Now, one of the things you don't want to do when you're painting is you don't want to go over and over the same place. Like if I decide, like that there, if I decide I want to make that lighter in a little bit, then I'm going to let it dry and come back to it. That way it's not just, it doesn't just turn muddy. So I'm going to get the top up there a little bit. So that's always a good thing to do, is just let it set for a minute, let it dry it with a hair dryer, heat gun, something along that line. Because that is actually quite a bit darker than I anticipated. So this time I've got some blue and white and a little more of that river rock. I've got quite a bit loaded on there because we're gonna do quite a bit across there at once. So depending on how this turns out tonight, we will see whether or not how far I'm gonna go with it. As far as, like, I'd like to finish the painting, but I don't know if we will put the transfer on it because it'll need to be nice and dry. So probably just the painting tonight, and then we'll decide how that's gonna go. So I want this to look wintry, so that's why I'm adding this river rock color is like a Martha Stewart paint. And so it is, hello Miss Leona, it is a little bit thicker maybe than some. So some areas are a little bit thicker than others. I totally had thought about painting this with a knife, but I don't know how long it would take to dry, because that takes a little bit longer. So I didn't prime this canvas or anything. It's a pre-primed canvas, so I didn't do anything else to it, just by the way. So do you guys paint? Hi Denise. Who loves to paint? I haven't painted hardly nothing compared to when I had the group painting business. And y'all are going to see that this is like probably 5 times too much paint. It always seems like it's going to take a whole bunch more. But it really doesn't. Same way with chalk. Chalk just doesn't take very much. But if you kind of paint your sides as you're going down, oops, got my head right in the way on that one. I just looked over and saw the screen. Nobody wants to see my head there. So let me lean back this way. I was afraid that was going to happen a time or two. So you can definitely tell that one spot over there that I got a little bit darker than I wanted, that we're gonna just leave it alone though, which is very hard. And this, like I say, this is just a completely, whatever you want sky. You know, you can add a little bit more oranges or whatever at the, at the base, like if you wanted it to have a sunset. But I just wanted this just to be the sky background. And I think we are going to add maybe a tall tree here. I love painting trees. I just think they are so much fun. Hi, Katie. You're sweet, Denise. Thank you. But painting is one of my favorite joys. And I told y'all this before, that I learned to paint from watching Bob Ross videos, because I would stop the VCR. That was when there was a VCR. That's how long it's been. And I would stop the VCR, and then I also would paint with him. It was actually easier to paint with him from books. But the VCR, on tape though, I could see what he was doing. So I would watch that, but I'd also go like step by step through his books. You can learn to paint on it. It's not hard. It really isn't. Let me see if I can keep my head out of the way on this one. Especially ones like this. They're just kind of whimsical and fun. They're not, like a serious, it's however you want it to come out kind of thing. So just use your bigger brush. You want to always use the biggest brush you can for the space that you have. So, and this tape will give me a nice crisp line down here, because that's how you have such a distinction between the sky and the ground, is giving it a nice crisp line. So I really love painting seascapes. Those are some of my favorite ones. I need to let that dry just a little bit more there. Some of my favorite ones in my home are seascapes. Okay. So if I keep painting right now, some of this is going to like lift up, and it's going to like be just what you don't want it to be. So I'm going to give this a little bit of dry. Oh, that's neat, Katie. I know Bob Ross was our friend, wasn't he, Donna? Whoops. Well, I didn't have a ton of it, Tony, but once you run a painting studio, a group painting business, and then all of a sudden you're helping people paint several nights a week, you become like much faster, and you learn why you do what you do. So I got that a little bit thick right there. I'm trying not to dry it like too fast, but I want it to dry enough that I can come back and do a little bit more on it. And like I said, we just want it to be dry enough to come back on top. It's still a little tacky feeling right in here. But I think it is just so very, very relaxing. And this is really not the way to find out if it's dry. This is what I do all the time. But really what you should do is, if you tilt your painting to the side and look at it from the side angle, you can see what's wet and what's dry. So, or you can just stick your finger on it like I do. Okay, let's see if that's dry enough. So this spot was a little bit, that's probably enough to us. But like I say, totally you can look from the side, because if you look from the side, it will have a more of a glossy or a shiny look. Okay, so let's go back now and get a little more of this blue and white. And we don't want all that gray to go away, but I want a lot of it. And this is my favorite part, this playing in the paint till I get the color that I want. I also like just letting the colors mix on here. So I'm going to just put a little bit over that, but I don't want to take it all away. I'm going to drag a little bit of that off and see if I can get just a little more. And you can also, like if you want it to be more like clouds, you can kind of scrub in But we're going to keep this very, very loose, very whimsical, not anything super crazy. It gets easy for to start going, oh, I should do this and I should do that. So I'm going to try to contain myself and keep it not too crazy. So I'm going to add a little more of this river rock color in there because I feel like I've got it a little bit bluer than I want. I want it to be a little bit more gray sky. So let's put a little bit more of that in. And then we'll take the tape off here in a second and we'll put, we'll do the bottom part. We'll move it to the top because I need it to be a little gray in there. We don't want it to be too bright and blue, even though sometimes, ooh, there I almost got a little darker. I want this area down here to stay a little softer because I want it to go into my snow. The rest of this, I don't really know what I want it to do. I just want to have fun. So this is kind of all we're going to do with this part, but I'm gonna paint the bottom here in a second, and then I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna do a tree or maybe 3. I don't know which one. I'm gonna do one larger one for sure, and we'll need this to dry again one more time. But we used to do paintings in like hour and a half, or no, it was probably more 2 hours, like start to finish. And so you can totally do a painting, you know, quick. But another thing I like to do is, like I was showing you a while ago, I like to really scrub the color into the canvas. But I'm trying not to do this too much on this because I just wanted it to be very like blowing snow, kind of like. Okay, so let's see if we need any more of this gray. I'm trying to tone that blue down a little bit. It was a little bit brighter than I wanted it to be. So, but our Let It Snow is going to be right over the top of this. So you're not going to see every little color in there. And I always like when like I do with other things that I'm making. You guys have heard me say, I'm going to come back to this in a little bit. And I do that a lot because then I can get a whole different perspective on it. Right now I'm looking at it very close. So it's kind of like viewing a painting at a museum or something. You know how you don't want to get, if you get really super close, you can't really see it. So it's always kind of nice to get away a little bit. Okay. Let's do just a little bit more over here and get those to mix right quick. And then we're gonna have to figure out like what colors paste, but we'll let this dry nicely and see first. So I'm trying to tone that down a little bit over there. Okay, I think I like that. Okay, so let's mix this bottom just a little bit more because I want that to, and I'm gonna kind of leave these the same, these strokes all kind of the same direction. Just that wrist back and forth. Okay. So, are y'all bored yet? Have I made you crazy? I get painting and forget what's going on. Let me get the top of this painting again. Make sure. So, I may have put you all to sleep. I don't know. Okay, let me rinse this brush out a little bit. A lot of times I paint all the way through and I don't even like rinse my brush hardly. Because I like the colors just to mix. So there's our nice line down to our white. Oh, good, Kathy. Okay, let's give this a little dry right here at the base because I need to put a new piece of tape up there because I want this to be very, a little bit of white and a little bit of blue. But mostly we need it dry enough that I can come back and do the tree on top without smearing it. I think this is like the only second time I've painted with, I think it's only like the second time I painted with like chalk paint on a canvas. Normally I just use chalk paint on there, on wood, you know. So, thanks, Linda. Yeah, this is chalk paint. It is. It's the same Waverly that I use on wood. Donna, one of these days, I tell you, you and I are going to have to get together. When I'm not doing 100,000 shows, you're going to have to take a trek up to Arkansas. And we'll do a painting lesson. And because I'm pretty sure we've known each other forever. Okay, that's just about getting dry enough. Okay, so let's get this bottom, and it's going to have, like I say, it's going to have very little color on it. I'm going to rinse kind of wipe my brush, dry it up a little bit. It is mostly going to be white, but it's going to have, I hope, just a very little bit of blue in it. And because we don't want it to be totally white, that's almost a little more blue than I anticipated. So let's just use straight white on there now. But let me put tape back up here because I want to keep that nice and straight. But this time we're going to go the length of it because we don't want it, we want it to look like the ground. So we want that to have, we want to go horizontal with it. Let me try to get this tape right back where it should be. There we go. And then those two little things will make your, I got more blue. I didn't want to get more blue. I'm going to rinse that off. That will make you look like the difference. And I can see in my screen that you can see the difference, how it looks like it's laying down, how it looks like it's ground instead of like the sky is. So we're going to just do this across and letting just tiny bits, try not to dip because I almost dipped straight in the blue. Tiny bits would not be dipping straight into the blue. Okay, so let me get the sides over here. So this is why I tell y'all when you're painting with a foam brush is so much easier, because it just has a whole different feel, you know, and you can do the sides and everything. So let's make this look like it almost has some drifts though, because it is going to be our snow. So yeah, it is. I agree, Donna. It's like, it's just little things that make a lot of difference and kind of tricks the eye. So we want just another, I'm going to drag just a little bit more blue in there because I want this just to have a little touch of some drifting type snow, or what would appear to look like that. So y'all can see that we're probably, this will take a little bit longer to dry. And like I said, we'll probably do our transfer tomorrow night because I'll need this to be nice and dry. But y'all, it's just so relaxing. If you haven't tried painting, it's so enjoyable, so relaxing. And it just kind of changes with you. And it doesn't have to be like, I have no, serious preconceived how I want this to be. I just kind of know kind of where it's going. So, which I know y'all are shocked because I never do that. I always know exactly what I'm doing. You're like, never. Okay, so I think, I'm going to kind of look at that from the side. I kind of like that. Let's bring this one right here where it kind of plays out a little bit more. So there we go. There, I like that. And we want right up to that line so it is a nice crisp line. That will make you look good more as much as anything is having a nice crisp line, because that will definitely take on the ground and the sky that way. So don't, like I say, don't worry though. I mean, it's like, don't fret, just paint. That's me and Bob Ross. So, oh, he has so much talent. It's crazy to watch him. I'd be like, how did he do that? I could never, ever master his clouds, ever. I've tried so many times, and I could not get that cloud business down at all. Okay, there's our little snow. So you should be able to tell that it has, let's pull this tape back off and get a hold of it. So there's our nice snowy ground. I like it. So neat. So neat. So much fun. I love to paint. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Marianne. So let's give this, particularly this side over here, a little dry, because I want to put a very wintry looking tree over here. And then let me move that away. And we'll decide on how much. Thanks, Kathy. We'll decide on how much, how many trees or what. But this really does dry super fast, so it's still a little bit cool over here. Oh, I know, he did do cool water lines. There's just not hardly anything he just didn't make look so easy. I'm such a Bob Ross fan. It's like, oh, how easy can it be? Okay, so this one, let me dry that brush just a little bit because we're not going to use it now. So this one, let me show you kind of where I'm headed with this one again. So I want to do kind of a tree similar to this, kind of right over here, but I want to leave a lot of this as space. But one of the things that'll happen if we do this tree or similar to that in front, then it will be, you know, the foreground. So we want to bring some trees in the back as well, just a little bit, so that they have some depth. I think that's where I'm trying to head with you. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit of black, and I see I've got 2 tons too much paint on here, so I probably will have to paint another painting before I go home tonight. I'm gonna just paint off this lid on this one because there's probably enough there to do that. So I'm going to use a very thin brush, because when I want to do some happy little trees, exactly, I like to, I need to do the back ones first. So I was almost messed up. I get laughing and forget. But I know there's just nothing like happy little trees. But one of my favorite things is painting trees. But on the other side of that is it's been quite a while since I've actually painted any. So let's put my glasses on for these happy little dudes. So we just want them to be very wintry looking. So some of these are going to be way back here. And then I'll do a few that are up front or much closer. So Hopefully I'm not getting in front of the, let me move that over just a little bit. Hopefully y'all can still see it without seeing my head. So we're going to vary some of these so that they have a little bit further off look to them. And they're going to be very wintry. Hello, Leslie. How are you tonight? We're doing a little Bob Ross. I wish I no, I don't. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with my life. I don't know why I said I wish. I enjoy what I get to do. So I'm going to make this one just a little bit thicker now. And sometimes I usually balance with my little finger, and that helps me to have a little more stability. But I don't want these to be like a perfect line. I want them to be, and there's a little bitty string on here. A little bitty brush on here that piece that's looking a little crazy. I'm going to just trim it off because I don't want it to get out there and be all crazy. So let's do a little bit here, and then we're going to just kind of overlap some of their branches back in here. Make that one a little bit darker, but they don't have to be super dark, and they can be whatever you want them to be because they're your trees, aren't they? Okay, so we want these to kind of venture up, and these have to get a little bit thinner. And so your branches always want to be kind of a Y. You don't want them to look like a rake. I want these to look like very wintry, like there's just nothing there but branches. But you still don't want it to be like a rake. You still want it to be like it's growing. Like these, I want to be growing up. So kind of giving them that. And some will be longer than others, of course. And y'all may come on tomorrow night and it may be a whole different tree. You can never, ever tell what kind of thing is going to happen. But what I'm talking about is letting the trees grow from the side of the tree and up. And these are, like I say, these are very, very small, very loose is where I'm headed with that. So some of these branches are going to overlap, and we are fine with that because that will give us all different depths. Okay, so I hope I have made y'all super crazy tonight. I don't have that super sweet Bob Ross tone. I would put you to sleep. So, but sometimes I just totally get painting and forget about everything else. Okay, let's do this one's branches a little bit lower. Bring it up and across here. That almost didn't go where I wanted it to, but my favorite trees to draw or paint are those gnarly looking ones that you would see as like a spooky tree. Those are absolutely my favorite because it was they just have all this big, and you can like do a moon and all kinds of good stuff. I need to get my brush just a little bit wet. Not that wet. Okay, so let's do this one right fast. I know these probably take longer than any of the rest of the painting will. Like I say, they're just very simple little trees. They're not anything fancy. And then we're going to do one up here in front that's a little bit bigger. I'm not going to do any of them as big. Oops, I forgot that one. Let me finish it. I'm not going to do any as big as the ones on the other painting because I don't want to cover this too much. I want to do the transfer. So this one needs a little bit, another branch or two down here. Okay, so let's make this one just a little bit thicker. We're going to bring it up here in front just a little bit more too. I don't want them all back there because then they have the appearance of different areas, different places. Okay. Hi, Cello. How are you tonight? Did you guys see that cute little kids kit we had last night? That was so much fun. I love the kits that they do with everything in it. It is just too much fun. I think it's so neat that they put those all together so when we want to DIY we don't have to go, oh. Now I'm going to put some little like shadows just a maybe on here so to kind of bring those trees from where they don't look like they're just out in the out in the wild there by themselves. I'm going to bring them down just a little bit further because they kind of look like that. They kind of like they're just like floating. We don't want them to float. So let's bring them down a little bit more. But we're going to do just a little bit of snow shadow there with them too, possibly. Okay. So let's make this one just a little bit thicker. We want it to come forward a little bit more. And we want the base to be a little bit thicker too. So I know this is probably boring, y'all. It's probably too tedious. Chalk makes it so fast and easy, but I don't know. I just felt like a little painting tonight would be fun. So hopefully y'all do too. So there we go. Okay. So the words to this are great big. So I don't know. I keep looking at those because I don't know if we're going to use like the hoe transfer. I may just use the weather outside is frightful. Let it snow. Let it snow. But I haven't really decided. So y'all can be thinking about that. And tomorrow I'm going to do another tree over here, but I might have to do, see I'm thinking the words are almost too big. That's why I'm thinking just the weather outside is frightful might be nice just down here on the bottom with the snow. So I don't know. Y'all can tell me what you think. I don't know yet. I don't know what I think. So, okay, let's do this one more big tree here in front. Just right on top. And we're just going to take it up right in front. And we want it noticeably bigger because that will bring it to the front a little bit more. We're just going to paint it right on top of those others. Some of them will just overlap. Let's make it just a tiny bit taller. Because, yeah, some of those letters are just a little bit big for a painting. So, like I said, I think we're going to narrow it down some. My brush is getting too thick. It's making too thick of lines. Let's wipe it down just a little bit, because we want these to be much And sometimes these type of branches can be a little bit crazy when you come back and do that thicker tree on front, because all the other starts like getting in your little mind. It's like, move. So let's make this one noticeably bigger. Take the branch out even further, because it's a little bit thick right there. We don't want it to be too overpowering. Okay. I'll make that all just a little bit thicker there, because this one's close. Okay, so now, if we add just little touches of this white down here near the tree base, it'll kind of give them some little shadows. I'm going to try not to touch the black. And then we're going to see how dry this is going to be. But I think it's just going to take that little bit of that one, what am I trying to think of? That one transfer, just that one part. So I'm going to add a little bit, I'm going to try to add a little bit of texture here. This is not quite thick enough for that, but it kind of gives the trees a little something over there instead of just out in space look. Okay, so that's funny, Marianne. I like when they start taking shape. It is very much fun. Okay, so I'm gonna let those set a little bit, because I may need to do some other little ones or another bigger one. But I'm kind of thinking just to leave this like it is, and do, you know, use the spade. Let me turn this where y'all can see it a little bit better, because you're just seeing the trees. So if I turn that, let me see if I can turn it a little bit. There we go. Hi, Mary. Thank you. So now that really didn't take too long. I'm not sure I'm totally happy with the trees yet, but I'm going to leave them alone for now. And one of the things that I like to do is come back and add a little white shadows in there, and that will lighten this up, because I feel like that's a little bit dark right there. But you know how they kind of layer. But I'll need to let those dry good first, and then I'll come back and add a little white in there. Okay, so let's see if we can dry it. If we can dry this over here, we can totally finish this out tonight after all. So I'm going to try to move this, because I think we're going to just do that little bit of lettering right down here at the bottom. And I think it would just be pretty that way. I think it's one of those where I think too much would be too much. And so I like how the snow turned out. Just some drifting snow. We don't get a ton of snow here, but I like seeing the pretty snow. Okay, let's see if this is what needs to be the driest. So let me move this paint out of the way, and I'm gonna probably, oh thanks Kim, I'm gonna probably just I need to probably lay this down. So when you do a canvas, you want to, the canvas has give to it, so you want to put like a towel or something underneath it. So let me try to scoop these brushes over. I need my glasses. I sure don't want to lose those. But I think all I'm going to put out is the weather outside is frightful. Let it snow, let it snow. Because I think anything else is just going to be, these are too big. These are too big. I didn't think they were going to be, but they are. And we could totally use some of the little snowflakes up here if we wanted, or we could just do like dots. And that way, you know, it won't be too overpowering. But we're going to come back and put a little snow on the trees too. So I think we're just going to do this part with that part of the transfer. So let me see if I can lay this down. My drill was holding my thing from falling. And I'm going to try to get this where y'all can still see it. And see if I can get this around there. I think y'all can kind of see it from there, can't you? If I stay out of the way, I'll stick my head in the way and things like that. I'm gonna scoot the camera forward. I'm sorry. I know it's jiggling you. I'm gonna try to scoot it up here though where you can see it. Because you don't need to see me anyway. So okay, let's see what we got here. Move my drill out of the way. Okay, let me scoot that up, and hopefully y'all can see it as soon as I... Okay. There we go. I think you can see a lot of it, some of it. Okay, so now I don't want the lettering to be like crazy. I want it to just be very, very soft. But see how the canvas gives? Oh, y'all, I almost painted this with a with a squeegee, like a knife painting. But since this gives so much, we're gonna need to stick some towels or a book or something underneath there. That way it doesn't give too much. And we're really just gonna work with this bottom. So let me see if I can get that to be the firmest area. And because I think I'm just going to, well, I know I'm just going to put those little bit of, this little bit across there. But then we might use some of the snowflakes. Let's see. That still has quite a bit of give. See, I need to get that a little bit better where y'all can see it too. Let me see if I can raise this up a little bit higher right quick. Let's see. Sorry to jiggle you around, but maybe you can see it better if I do that. I'm watching from here to there, and it's kind of weird. Okay, we're gonna try. We're going to try that, I think. That's an interesting angle anyway. Keeping life interesting. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think you'll be able to see it. So, I've got that one, and I'm going to stick a couple of catalogs under here too for a little more stability. So, let's see how this all flies, girls. That's going to need to fold back up. Okay. That's still going to give quite a bit. We don't want it to give too much. We want it to be... And you also want your paste to be a little thin. So, I'm trying to get that. It doesn't matter if it's up a little bit, but... excuse me, you just don't want it to give too much on you because you want it to be able to squeegee across it. Okay, so I'm not going to fuzz this one too much because canvas has such a tooth to it that I don't know if that's going to be solely necessary, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to stick it to my apron a time or two. And this one is pretty sticky though. But normally I just stick it down a time or two and then use it. Use it. So I'm thinking just the weather outside is frightful. Let it snow. And I'll need to leave off this last comma. And then make some snow dots maybe in the sky. I don't know. I'll play that one by ear. So I think y'all are still just seeing like half of it. So let me turn. It's kind of weird over here beside me. Okay. Kind of seeing it. Okay. There you go. Woohoo! All right, good deal. So I'm thinking just to use that part, and I'm thinking maybe just some. Oh, I don't know if we want to go such. No, that's too bright a blue. You guys have any suggestions? I'm kind of thinking just gray lettering. And you put a little bit of tape on here because y'all know get a little chalk happy. And I don't want that comma on there because we're just going to do 2 Let It Snows. And if I change my mind, I can come back and use this one more time and then do Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, which is kind of what I'm thinking will probably happen. Because it just seems like I ought to have Let It Snow 3 times, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to take that stuff off so I don't accidentally get it. All right. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Okay, let me get a little bit of gray or storm or whatever color I have handy. I've got white and I've got I don't know what I got. I know I've got a black here somewhere, unless it's hanging out in the other room, and it could be hanging out in the other room easily. Let's see. Okay. Morning sky. Isn't it a blue-gray color? Oh. I don't think I have that. I think you picked one I don't actually have. That's crazy, isn't it? Who'd have thought? Okay. Yeah, I don't think I do. I don't recall having that one. So let's do... We could actually add a touch of blue to it. This is my old black, so it may be too... Yeah, I think I'm going to need to go get the other. So let me grab it, because that is just too... This needs to be very easy to flow. So I almost think the shimmer shadow would be pretty on there because of it being sparkly. Grab all these right quick. Okay. Because we can come back and put some ocean mist. Donna, she might have made up a color. I don't know. I went with it, so I don't know. Keeping it interesting. Okay, let's do just a little bit of this. Let's do a little bit of white. That's actually quite a bit of white, but that's probably plenty. And I'm thinking about a little bit of shimmer shadow in there. That way it's not quite so harsh. I don't know if y'all can see. It's more of a softer gray that way. And We can always add a tiny touch of blue, but I don't know that it would show. I do have a Lakeshore, which is a pretty soft blue. Let's see what that looks like. I don't know if it will even show up with that gray, but we can add a little tiny touch because it would be a pretty good snow color. I don't know, the gray might be just what we need though. Let's see. Let's do a little mix in here and see what happens. I'm gonna move most of that blue over because I kind of just like that little bit of shimmer there. Ooh, Shimmer Frost is kind of, well, it's a little bit brighter than what we made here. So I say that's a good idea though too. I don't think it would show up on the white. So we're just going to make this soft gray, it looks like. Because I don't think the blue is going to do anything in there. I think the shimmer color is too overpowering for that. So until you make up a new color, Donna, we're going to go with this one. Okay, let's finish this dude out. That's just kind of, that's almost like storm color. So, and that's pretty soft. Okay, let's try that. If we don't like it, we can always do something else. You know, y'all know how that goes. Let's see. You know what? I didn't even look to see if that was straight. So, let's take a slight look at that and see. It looks pretty good from the top. Okay, let's press that down a little bit better. Allergy, itchy nose happening. Okay. Donna. Okay, so we're gonna just, oops, I just bumped my little head. I hope I didn't move y'all. So I can see a little bit of the shimmer in there. Move that out here where I can reach it. I'll have to see how this all comes out. I'm curious myself. All right, let's take a lot of that back off. Yeah, we have enough stuff out here to do 3 paintings, I'm pretty sure. Okay. I'm try to get all that extra off. Okay, let's see. Let's kind of take a peek and see what it's going to look like. Oh, I think that looks nice. I think it looks nice. Y'all can tell me what you think. And we will let that dry. And then we can decide, or I can look at it, take a peek at it, and decide if it needs more trees over to the side. I kind of like the starkness of it. But y'all know I'm kind of a minimalist on a lot of things. Oh, good. Y'all like it. Yay. Thank you. I'm glad y'all do. I think that's really all it needs is just that very little bit of lettering. So, and I'm going to add a little, I will add a little bit of snow to our trees over there on the top. And I think that lettered quite nicely though. So, let me hold it up where you can see it a little bit better. Kind of turn it. I think that's pretty darn cute. Yep. I like it. I think that is just pretty, let me see. Let me hold it back a little bit. Pretty minimal. But I think that's all it needs. I don't think it needs anything else other than my trees with a little snow. So, all right, y'all, we're going to stop there. I'm glad y'all like it. Thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out with me as always. I'll have to do something else tomorrow, but I don't know what. So, I'm going to finish this one out, and it may be our Watts of Love donation this week. I want to continue to do that every week. Hey, Lisa. And thanks, Kim. So, y'all can let me know if you're interested. I'm going to, like I say, I'll finish it out and everything first. And then we'll see. So, oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, don't I? I was afraid I'd be a little too boring. But it's so relaxing. If you ever get a chance to paint very much, please do. It's so enjoyable. So you guys have a great rest of your night. I'm going to go rinse this transfer. And I will see you tomorrow night. It'll be a little bit later. I have team time with my first line tomorrow night at 7. So I will see y'all about 8:15. So have a great night. Thanks, y'all. Bye.